Hi, this is Pasquale, doing my week 4 final submission for my project. I started off this week by making corrections to my HTML markup for my main site page. For this, there wasn't a whole lot that I noticed that wasn't sticking to a lot of the practices that we used this month in the class. The only thing that I did notice was that here where this section bio header is, I had divs there. I turned that into a section now because I've got a header there. It made logical sense to do that. That was really the only thing I did for the main page. I did corrections to 2 components. The first component was the header that I created from CodeDrops. When I spoke to Mr. Bloom last week, these navigation, these icons for the social media links, they were set up with a font icon that I found that you can do through CSS, but it was, instead of actually putting the words like RSS and email and Twitter and Facebook and so on in the A tag that was in here, it used like keyboard shortcuts. So RSS might have been represented by a comma, or email might have been represented by a period, the letter R for Twitter, all these different little letters that you would put in, or characters, and then it would pull in that icon. And the point that Mr. Bloom made was a good one, that if you turn off the CSS and just look at this, you would actually see just those different characters, and it wouldn't make much sense of what you were clicking on. So I went ahead into my markup and I changed all of this. We're looking at this highlighted block right here. Now you can see inside the A tags I've got FeedBurner and Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and GitHub and so on. What I did instead was went ahead and gave each of these a class, and then in the CSS to go with it, I put them all in one block and set the background image and the width and height, and then individually set the background position so that it would pull in the main icon that was white, and then when you hover over it, it backs up however many pixels to the blue version that I have in an image sprite that I created for the whole thing. And it turned out really good, and if you turn off the CSS, the words are there. The second thing that was in need of correction was some of the ways that I styled the headers and body copy and some of these different links in my sign-in forms. Initially I had created a class called Blue that anything that I applied it to, whether I applied it to this header here or I applied it to the forgot password link, if it had a class of .blue, it would turn that text blue. And the reason I guess that made sense to me earlier was because you've got all these little words in here where some of them are green, but the majority of them are set up to the main font color of the page. So I had put spans around these and given them a class of green, and then figured I would give this a class of green. Then it made sense to give this a class of blue and this a class of blue, instead of styling them all individually. But after looking a little bit further at it, from Mr. Bloom's notes that he gave me, what I went ahead and did for this one, I took out all the classes that were on the headers, the paragraphs, even the or over here. I took all the classes off of that and went ahead and targeted them using just the ID. So I was able to target login reg and then H2, or article ID register and then the H2 here, and so on and so forth. And what I did, instead of using classes on each paragraph, I just used nth child selectors. So here I'm saying I want the second paragraph where it says already have an account, I want the color to be darker and I want the font weight to be bold, and you can see that's being applied here just on this one paragraph, but it's not affecting anything else. For the or, I went ahead and put in nth child selectors for the fifth paragraph, or the fifth paragraph and the fourth paragraph, and told it to do uppercase, font size 20 pixels, and bold, and you can see that's being applied to this one and that one over there. For the headers, same kind of thing. I just did sign in H2 and set the color, register H2 and set the color, and then was able to select them both and set them to bold. Other than that, I think you've seen just about everything. Oh, the one on the forgot password, I put I used this first of type pseudo class to select just this A tag within the form, the first A tag, because the second A tag is this button. So first of type selects just these words here. From my HTML, you can see it here. Inside the form, there's 2 A tags, and here's the first of type on this line. This would be the second, and that CSS is targeting only that set of the A tag with the forgot password in it, and that has worked and is being applied here. Those are all my changes for this week, and look forward to having classes with some of you soon.